Hey there, everyone. Today's video, I'm going to go over some of the pros and some of the cons of living in Salt Lake City, Utah. Welcome back, everybody. I'm Greg Spackman. I'm with the Living in Salt Lake City channel. So if you want to learn everything about what it's like to eat, sleep, live, and play here in the Salt Lake City area, then please click the subscribe button and click the little bell to be notified every time I do a new video. We have been getting a ton of people that are reaching out to us that are wanting to relocate here or move to the Salt Lake City area, and we love it. So if you're thinking about making that move, please give us a call, send us a text, shoot us an email, whatever you got to do to get a hold of us, because we got your back if you're moving here to Salt Lake City. And just going to get right started. Pro number one would be access to all the outdoor stuff you have here. There are parks, canyons, endless ways for you to enjoy being outside. Utah is home to what's called the Mighty Five. I'm not sure if you've heard that term before, but that is Zion National Park, Arches National Park, Bryce Canyon National Park, Capitol Reef National Park, and the Canyons National Park. So there are 5 parks that you can visit. The other things that you can do outdoors here, if you're not aware, but you can take your boat out on a ton of different lakes. You can kayak, you can paddleboard, you can fish, you can hunt, you can float tube down a river, you can camp. Tons of camping sites here all over. Some are free, some are paid. There's this place called Moab that you should look up if you're into 4x4ing at all. But if you're into 4x4ing, then you probably have heard of Moab. But they do something called the Easter Jeep Safari in April every year, which is amazing. I went last year, and this year I plan to be there again, and it's April like 1st through the 9th, I think, or 1st through the 10th. But anyhow, you can mountain bike, and last but not least, you can hike. And for hiking, that I'd never hiked before in my life. We moved here to Utah a little over about a year and a half ago, and I've done, I don't know, maybe 8 hikes so far. 4 or 5 of them I've been to waterfalls. I even put together a YouTube channel called Outdoors with Greg that covers that stuff that I do 4x4 and with my hikes. But there are amazing things that you can do outdoors. So hopefully that's one of the big reasons that you're looking at Utah to relocate to, is you want to be doing things in the outdoors. The number 2 pro on my list is the incredible winter sports, which is probably another reason you're looking at moving here. But we have some of the best snow on earth, free to ski or snowboard or tube down the mountains or just play in the snow, want to build a snowman. We have snow, so you could do that here. We don't get feet and feet and feet of snow at your house. So when you go up to the mountains, you'll have plenty of it. We just got 6 inches last night of snow at our house, which is not very much snow, but still plenty for the kids to play outside. So my kids were outside today playing in the snow, and they just love it when it snows. That'll be here for a few days, and then it'll all be gone. However, I did drive to the office today to shoot this video, and the roads were perfectly fine, even though we got that much snow. I didn't have any issue. I drove my daughter's car today, and she only has front-wheel drive. So I thought maybe the roads might be rough. So I left her my car, and it wasn't even needed. Pro number 3 would be musical and cultural events that happen here. We have Sundance Music Festival, which is gigantic, and that's held every year outside of Salt Lake City. And they have a variety of different cultural events that you can find throughout the year. Different parks have concerts that go on during the summertime and springtime. You just have to kind of look that up and find out what it is you're after. But there are a ton of different events like that are held all over Salt Lake City, typically once the weather warms up a little bit until it gets a little chilly in October. Pro number 4 on the list is probably one of my favorite things, and that's the amount of sunshine. And there's about 20 inches of rain. So it doesn't rain all that much. However, it does get about 20 inches. It averages 222 days of sunshine, which is something that I really, really like. I don't really like it being cloudy and overcast. I want the sunshine. Sunscreen is definitely necessary here, but it feels like you don't really need it. However, we did get burned this last summer more than we had in the past, just because we weren't applying sunscreen often enough, because it didn't feel like you really needed it. However, you do. The average high here is somewhere around 91 degrees during the summertime. So it does get warm, but it's not hot, like definitely like Phoenix or Las Vegas hot. Just know that July is the warmest month of the year, and temperatures can drop below freezing in the winter. However, I haven't seen that happen yet. I think 6 degrees or something was the coldest it's been since we've lived here. And then the average temperature, they say online, is somewhere around 23 degrees. However, we seem to see 28 to like 32 seems to be about the average temperature. It seems like whenever it's going to snow, then it's in the 40s. So we don't, your app is going to tell you that it's going to snow, and then it doesn't snow, which is, frustrating. It's definitely for the kids because they're all praying for too much snow so that they can stay home from school and play. So the average amount of snow is somewhere around 50 inches, and that's spread out starting in, I don't know, mid-October, late October, running through April. So you're going to get 6 or 8 or 10 inches here or there, and up to about 50 inches total, which seems like it would be cool if you got 50 inches all at once, but we don't get like that. It's just spread out. So you get enough to play with and enough to drive around in the snow, but know that it doesn't snow a ton at your house like it does in other areas of the US. Pro number 5 is a thriving job market and booming technology sector here. We have a really healthy economy in Utah, and the job market is incredible. We have, I think, the lowest job unemployment rate in the nation of something like 2.4%. So it's well below the 3.7%, which is the national average. The city is super diverse, and strong labor has attracted a ton of companies such as Adobe, eBay, Delta Airlines is really big here, Goldman Sachs. They don't have this, we didn't get this nickname for nothing, called Silicon Slopes, but know that if you're looking for a job, you will definitely be able to get a good paying job and a good job here. You just need to go out and find it. Pro number 6 is our mass transit system here. And while we're definitely nothing like a New York for their subway system, we have a light rail system and a track system and city bus system. So you can definitely get around. And there are certain areas that are better, of course, than others for it, but it seems to be expanding here, and we definitely have the ability for you to use mass transit. So if you picked a city, say like South Jordan, and you wanted to live in a community called Daybreak, for instance, they have a track system there that you could take all the way into the airport or into downtown Salt Lake. So you wouldn't even need to take your car to go to work living there. Same thing if you lived in Sandy or Draper, they have that as well. My last pro, number 7, is our sports teams. So sports are pretty big here. The Utah Jazz are incredibly large. Everybody loves the Jazz. So you definitely will have people talking about them, wanting to go to games, all of that. We have the Salt Lake City Bees, which is a AAA team for the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. Still don't understand that name. I would just call them Anaheim Angels or even California Angels like they used to be, but whatever. We have the Utah Grizzlies, which is a ECHL hockey team. And so if you're into ice hockey, you can definitely go see them. They are a team for the Colorado Avalanche. The University of Utah, the Utes, have a fantastic football team and some of the other sports, but their football is what they're most well known for. They are playing in the Rose Bowl this year, and every year they're pretty competitive. We have BYU, which isn't far away to the south, and Provo, and they are a good football team as well. That rivalry is huge, and it's really fun to be at some of the places where they're watching the games, sports bars and whatnot. When those two teams are playing each other, it gets pretty heated. We recently got the Real Salt Lake, which is an MLS soccer team. So if you're into soccer or football, you can definitely watch them. And then last on the sports list, we have the Utah Warriors, which is a professional rugby team. So haven't gone to see them yet, so they're on my list to go see. I'd love to go watch a professional rugby team, but those are the kind of our major sports here. Definitely they have high school and some of the other college sports that you can go check out. If you're into playing ice hockey, there's multiple rinks that you could play ice hockey in, and maybe you'll see me out there, since that's one of the things I love to do is to play ice hockey. But all in all, the sports are pretty good here. It'd be nice if we had an NHL team and an MLB team. Oh, we might be getting an MLB team. There's some rumors that there's this in the city of Draper, they are rebuilding this whole area called the Point. And there was some talk some mutterings that I've seen online about us potentially getting an MLB team. So that would be pretty awesome as well. But sports is number 7 in my last pro. All right, so you made it through my pros. Now I'm going to tell you some of the cons of living in Salt Lake City. Hopefully you've made it this far in my video. Love for you to share some of your pros about what you're looking forward to moving here, if you could, and maybe something that you're not looking forward to by living here. However, just let me know if you could. Con number 1 would be the weather. And while the weather is a pro as well, it can also be a con, because if you are moving from somewhere where there's no snow, say like Texas, and you wanted to move here, you're going to be dealing with snow. And if you're moving from somewhere where the weather is cooler and you're getting here where it's hotter, so you got that to deal with as well. However, all in all, I don't know if the weather is necessarily a con, but I'd be happy to talk with you about that. But know that we do have some poor air quality, and that's caused by something called the inversion layer and the forest fires that blow in from California and Oregon seem to cause an issue with our air quality as well. Number 2 con would be the amount of people that are tourists that come to Utah and that cause all this traffic and everything because you want to be able to go skiing or snowboarding. And so they just cause a lot more headache. If it was just us Utahites, however you say that, if it was just us locals living here, we wouldn't have much traffic getting up to the slopes. But the amount of tourists that come in, and I'm sure that that's beneficial to our economy and helpful for it, it just causes an issue for you hitting the slopes. Con number 3 would be more competition for jobs. So know that because our economy is so good and the job market is so good, you're going to be competing with other people for some of the top jobs. So you need to have your resume really well done and have good job qualities and skills in order to nail that job, since there's more competition for the jobs. Con number 3 may be one of the worst cons, and that may be one reason that stops you from moving here to Utah, would be the high cost of housing. So rents, I just did a quick little search on hotpads.com just to get an idea of what rents were running in the right now. So if you wanted a 1-bedroom in and around Salt Lake City, it seemed to be somewhere around the $1,200 to $1,400 range. And then they will tack on usually a technology fee, which is your internet. And then some of them even have like remote doorbells and stuff like that, so you can let people into your place, or they will or will not cover your parking. And then they have covered parking and then underground parking at different places. So it'll be a little bit higher than that. No, it's not going to be $1,200 flat out the door for a 1-bedroom. I then looked up what a 3-4 bedroom home would rent for. And right now, the cheapest one that I saw, I think, was like $2,000 ish. And then somewhere around the $2,500 range seemed to be like a good price point to find a rental. And that could be up to 5-bedroom as well. But you could spend definitely a much more than that. I'm sure that you could probably find it less if you move further out, but know that rent and that is high here. As far as home purchases, it's going to be somewhere in the $450 range for a condo townhome-ish, and then on $550, $600, $700, $800 and for a home purchase. And it's just going to depend on which city you pick. And that's one of the reasons why you reach out to us, so we can help you fit your budget and give you an idea of the different cities that might fit your budget. And you can then let us know where you're going to be working, so we can try to help you narrow down your commute time and then also end up in an area that you're going to like. But rent here and purchasing prices are, pretty expensive as far as what it used to be here in Utah. Con number 4, which is one of my least favorite things about living here in Utah that we have found, is how they number the streets. So you're going to find when you're here, it'll be like 5,000 east and 6,000 south or something like that as far as the street naming convention. So they use numbers, and it's a grid system, and it's all relative to a couple different temples, and then they reset based on going north or south from that. So just know that the numbering system, it's going to seem weird to see 11,200 when you're on the on their highway or freeway, and you're going to have no idea what the heck that means. like 10,600, I think, off of I-15 is where the mall is in Sandy. Well, it would be much easier if it was just Sandy Boulevard to remember that than 10,600. However, once you've been here, I guess you start to learn, like when they say that it's 8,000 and you know how far 8,000 is from, wow, and you know how far 8,000 is from where you're at, just know that it'll start to make more sense to you, and you'll probably get a good idea of how long it's going to take you to get there because it's this many blocks or streets away from where you're going. But for me, still hasn't made a lot of sense, and I wish that it was named after streets for myself. Next con on the list is Utah is not a huge party scene. There really aren't a ton of nightclubs and bars and that. So if you're used to all of that, we're used to being able to go, club hop or bar hop and go to 20, 30 different bars in the same night. You're not going to be able to do that here. There are bars and clubs that you can go to, and there are new ones opening up every year. Just know that you won't be able to go to as many as you could in other parts of the country. We just aren't that way here in Utah. And my last con on the list is traffic west to east or east to west, whichever way you want to say it. We don't have a great system for that. You're going to be taking city streets, and it takes quite a bit because you hit all the stoplights and traffic lights along the way. There just really isn't a better way right now. It'd be cool if they could build something, and it'd be super nice if they did to kind of split it so you could get over to the west side much faster than you can currently. But for right now, we just deal with what you got to deal with, and it isn't all that great. You just kind of plan on that it's going to take you 20 minutes to go over there, so you deal with the 20 minutes that it's going to take you. All in all, those were my pros and cons for living here in Salt Lake City. Hopefully you still want to move here to Salt Lake City. Me and my team would love to help you relocate here to the Salt Lake City area. So if you could give us a call, send us a text, shoot us an email, whatever you got to do to get a hold of us, we'd love to help you and talk to you about it. Thank you so much.